Hey, what's up everybody, Retro Gaming Guy here. Today in this video, we're going to compare the prices that Dkoldies offers people for their games with the prices that they sell them for on their website. So our example today comes from an individual that actually reached out to me a couple days ago because he wanted to sell his retro game collection. And he asked me if I buy collections, which I do, but I don't typically buy rare collections because they go for a lot of money. And I'm not a collector personally. Anything that I buy because I want to enjoy it myself or make videos with it. When I'm done with either of those, I sell it. So if I bought something with a high value, I run the risk of taking a loss on it when I go to sell it. So it's just not something I typically do. I did say that I was willing to give him an offer, but it probably wouldn't be his best offer. Turns out it was his best offer, and you're going to see why. So I actually told him, though, you should reach out to Dkoldies, Lukey Games, and East Starland, because this is a big part of their business. They buy stuff and sell stuff. And I figured Dkoldies specifically, while I'm not a fan of them, they would be the best option because they sell for ridiculously high prices. If you're selling for high prices, you should be able to pay more to get those items in, to add them to your inventory. So that was my logic. Turns out that's not at all what Dkoldies does. And you're going to see exactly how low of an offer this individual got. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the list that he sent me, which is 10 games, all complete, all rare titles, and we're going to look them up on the Dkoldies website. We're going to find out what Dkoldies would sell these for, and then compare it to the price that Dkoldies offered this individual to get that collection and add it to their inventory. So again, I think you're going to be shocked to see how low of an offer this was based on what they would sell these items for. So let's dive into their website and take a look. All right, guys, we're here on the Dkoldies website. So I've got 10 titles here written down that this gentleman was trying to sell to Dkoldies. So we are going to go through and find what they would sell these items for on their website. So first title here, and I actually have the value that this gentleman kind of assigned to these items. And it's not necessarily the value that he was looking to be paid for them. It's just the value, the actual value of the items themselves. Because obviously if you're selling to Dkoldies or Lukey Games or anybody out there that's going to flip these products, then they're not going to be paying full value. They have to make money too. So you don't expect to be paid the full amount. It's like selling to a pawn shop. You know that they have to sell the stuff as well. You're just, able to sell everything to one person, and it makes life a little bit easier for you versus having to find, 10 separate sellers to sell 10 items to. So first one is Pokemon Pearl. I believe this is a DS game, if I'm not mistaken. I think everything else on this list is Game Boy Advance. Yeah. All right. So Pokemon Pearl. So if we click on this, we should be able to find the complete version. Yeah. So case, cover art, manual, $89.99. So I'm going to keep track of all of these numbers, and we'll add them all up at the end of this video. So $89.99 for this title. Next one, and these are all Game Boy Advance from this point on, Metroid Zero Mission. And this is going to be the complete version. That one over there is loose or cosmetically flawed. So complete, $239.99. All right. Next one is going to be, and he believed the value to be $320 there. So he was a little bit high, but also these prices here aren't necessarily the latest prices. Dkoldies may, when they get something, one of these titles that is currently out of stock, which we can see here out of stock, they may sell for more than they sold for in the past. Maybe they had this listed here 2 years ago and they haven't had this in stock since. The value 2 years ago is likely less than the value today. So, he had valued it at $320, or he believed that was the value. Dkoldies can certainly come back with a higher price than what they had sold for previously. This is just that previous price point. So we'll continue on. Next one is going to be Zelda Link to the Past, and this is also Game Boy Advance. That's complete. $124.99. So we'll make note of $124.99. And this gentleman said that he was valuing this at about $100. So that seems to be pretty well lined up. Next one is Zelda Minish Cap, also Game Boy Advance. And we just need the complete version. There it is right there. Out of stock as well, $319.99. This gentleman believed it to be $210, so he was a little shy on it. But again, Dkoldies doesn't charge, necessarily the true value. They're always going to be high, and everybody knows that. Metroid Fusion is going to be next. This gentleman thought it was valued around $150. Metroid Fusion complete, This one looks to be actually in stock. Yep, they have one in stock. Current stock one, $259.99. Okay, so he actually valued it quite a bit less than what Dkoldies values it. Next one, though, Pokemon Crystal. And he makes mention that he has a dead battery in this one. There's a dead battery in a couple of these. That really doesn't affect the value here much, especially to somebody like Dkoldies that likely has tons of these on hand. You just pop a new battery in. It's really not that hard. $549.99. I believe this is the highest valued item on the list. So $549.99, and this gentleman believed it to be valued at $700. So he's a little high there, but again, this is an old listing. This isn't current because they don't have it in stock. They could, get this in stock again and up this price considerably. It could be $750. It could be $800. Who knows? It could stay the same. We just don't know because it's not currently in stock. We're just going off of what they were selling these for, last time they had them stocked. Next one, Pokemon Fire Red. And this one, we just need to complete. There it is. $399.99. All right. Next one is going to be Pokemon Sapphire. Helps if I spell it correctly. All right, there we go. Complete Pokemon Sapphire, $349.99. And he valued this one to be $320. And the last one, I think I glazed over what he valued it to be. He being the gentleman trying to sell, he believed that one to be $310. So he's been pretty on point with most of these. So this one does line up quite well. Moving on, Pokemon Ruby. Spelled that wrong too. All right. And we just need the complete version again. Here it is. And for this one, he believed it to be $320. It's $349.99 on Dkoldies' website. They do not have this in stock either. So I believe so far they've only had one of these titles in stock. So I would think that they want these stocked, especially with the price points that they'd sell for. Next one and the last one, Pokemon Leaf Green. I remember this one too. And I believe there's two. Yeah, there's two of these. There's the player choice version. I believe that's higher valued. He didn't make mention of player's choice, so I believe it would be this one here. It's also pricey, $349.99. He believed it to be worth $300. So I would say that this gentleman is on point with his values. For the most part, there were only two that were higher than the actual value, according to Dkoldies and what they charged in the past. So it's not, 100%. So if we add up all these titles on the Dkoldies website, and that means it's the prices that Dkoldies would sell these for if they had them in their inventory. And again, it's just going off of what they had done in the past. So if anything, it's likely low. Total comes to $3,034.90. So $3,034.90. And what Dkoldies offered this guy was $619, which comes out just a little bit over 20% of the value that they would actually sell all of this for. So I believe that is insanely low. That is a ridiculously lowballed offer for this stuff. I mean, we're talking about, a business that wants to, do a flip for 100% profit on their investment. They would be offering, more than 2 times that number. So that's pretty crazy. All right, guys, let me know in the comments section what you guys think of this lowball offer from Dkoldies. I think it's pretty shitty, in all honesty. I think that just over 20% of the value that you would get out of this is ridiculous. I mean, $619 is what was offered here for something that is on the conservative side going to bring in over $3,000. I mean, $619 is just ridiculous in my opinion. Let me know what you think, though. Do you think that's a crazy offer, or do you think that's fair? I think that 50% is fair, in all honesty. You got to remember, these are not consoles. If you're going out and you're buying a PS2 console, you can function test it, you can power test it, you can figure out, does it turn on and, basically work. You don't know the true condition of it until you open that console up, which most people are not going to be doing when they go to buy something used. So there's some variables there, and they're hidden variables. With games, it's much simpler. Either they work or they don't work. And with Game Boy games, You can find out if that battery is functioning or not. You know, if you've got a dead battery, you know very quickly that you have a dead battery. You can test that very easily. So it's very straightforward. There's not a lot of hidden variables at play with games. You know, they either work or they don't work, and you know what you're going to buy for, you know what you're going to sell for. Dkoldies sure does. You know what your profit margins are. I don't think that they should be such a wide gap here. I just don't think that that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense for the bottom line at Dkoldies, but as somebody that is selling their collection, I think they're getting robbed if they're going with Dkoldies based on what we saw here. And these are highly desirable games. Anything Pokemon right now is super popular. You can go on eBay and type in these titles, and in a lot of cases you're going to find live auctions that are going for high amounts of money right now because there's so many people that want these games and they want them in good condition. There's very few of them out there in good condition. So, you know, these aren't things that are just going to sit on a shelf for a period of time where you have to count that into, you know, your pricing. You know, I just think that they're going to sell pretty quickly and they require very little work, if anything. You know, the dead battery ones obviously need to be swapped out. It's a very simple process, though. They're not shelling out a lot in labor to get that done. So I think it's a ridiculously low offer, and it just shows how greedy they are, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the content today, give me a thumbs up on the video. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube, and hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future videos here on the Retro Gaming Guy YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.